Hi, how is everyone doing out there? This is Amy Hamilton, author of The Project Manager, Life is a Project. And today I am going to be talking to you about different project management tools, why tools are important, and getting some feedback from the audience out there on what tools you have more interest in. So I would really like to thank Saeed and the team. It has been a long time, almost an entire year since I've talked to you guys out there. And a lot of people have been like, okay, where are you at, Amy? Why aren't you posting? Why aren't you publishing? And the reason is I spent a lot of time this past year in school, and I also moved from Germany back to the United States. So that's kind of a little of my personal life. And as you know, I really believe life is a project, and sometimes you have to scope things. And unfortunately, one of the things that I had to rescope was how often I was broadcasting and how often I was able to share project management and my passion for project management. But I am back there. I am here with you guys now, and I really want to talk about different tools, ways we can make our lives easier with project management software. And what I would really like to hear from you guys is which tools are you guys using at home? And maybe you guys have your own small business. Which tools do you find more valuable there? And then which ones are you guys using at work? Which big enterprise tools are you using? So first, I'm going to go through what project management software is out there right now, some of the different features you should be looking for, and then some of the tools that I have researched, some I've used for different organizations that I volunteer in. I've used different ones for work, and find out, what works best for you guys. And then I'll be doing a more in-depth series on different project tools, their features, and really going into in depth based on what you guys tell me the feedback is. So the first thing is project management software tools. They are there to help make your life easier. And I actually wrote my thesis for the University of Liverpool on different project management tools. And I'll be talking about that a bit more. But if a project management tool is too complex for your project, people aren't going to use it. So it's not going to give you those dashboards and that information that you want and need. So different things that you're going to want to look for in a project management tool is, where do you want it to be at? Who is your audience? So some things you want to consider: is this for an individual or is this for a group? So I know a lot of people who do like event planning, they do it fairly alone. They keep this individually. People who do real estate find a lot of individual project management tools are very useful. Another consideration for project management tools is, do you want it on-premise or do you want it cloud-based? I mean, most people who are going to be having a very small group, or if you're going to be doing this just as an individual, you're going to want it cloud-based. You don't want to maintain that on-premise. But if you are maintaining a huge organization, if this is enterprise-wise, then maybe on-premise makes a lot more sense for your organization. And another key to this is the API, is how much customization do you want? And customization takes a lot of time and effort. And if you want to spend time on customization, if you want it to be tailor-made, then what you want to do is make sure that it has API. So what are some different features that you want in your project management tools? Let's talk about the most important one, I think, for all project managers is going to be task management. The key is, whether it's something as simple as what used to be the to-do list and Basecamp, and unfortunately they don't make that anymore. I'll be talking about that in a little bit. But what are the task managements? How do you assign a task to someone? Can you assign it individually? Can you keep track of tasks? But you want to make sure that you can track your tasks. That's one of the most important things we do as project managers. Another thing that's really come about over the past few years has been team collaboration. Before, you would look at a collaboration tool and then you'd look at a project management tool, and the two did not really talk to each other well. But now so many things are integrated. So do you want your project management tool and your collaboration tool to be completely integrated, or are you looking for two separate tools? Another thing, and this is really important if you do a lot of presentations, is the visualization. A lot of times you have project management tools that are just not very attractive. They're not very eye-catching, and what ends up happening is you take everything out of your project management tool and then you have to recreate it in some kind of visualization tool like Project or Prezi or something like that. So if you can find a project management tool that you're not having to recreate for your visualization, this can be really helpful as well. The next thing is, how much time do you want to spend on training? So what kind of learning materials are there for the tool that you're going to be investing in? Is there already different videos that you can use? Are there webinars? Are there support groups? So it all depends on how complicated the tool is and how much you're willing to invest. If you're investing in a big enterprise-wide thing like Microsoft, then a lot of times what ends up happening is you're sending your entire team to training, sometimes for weeks at a time. Another thing that's really neat now is not just collaboration, but you can even get email integration that is integrated into your projects, and this can be super useful as well. So you really want to look at what kind of things do you want to do mashups with, what kind of integration do you want, and that goes back to that API feature. Another thing is document repository. So as you go through the project life cycle, and depending on how much you actually follow, whether it's PMBOK or Prince or whatever, you know, do you have a project charter? Do you want that project charter to be uploaded? Do you have a communications management plan? Do you want that communications management plan to be uploaded? So you want to make sure that there's an option for uploads if this is something that's important to you, and you want to keep all those key and critical project documents right there. And there's a great feature, and I've been doing project management for a long time, and life has changed so much, and we take it for granted now, but what about mobility? Do you want project management tools that you can use on tablets, you can use on your smartphone? I mean, how flexible is it to read on a small screen? And most traditional project management tools a decade ago didn't have those features, but now this is becoming quite the standard. Some other features you want to look at is going to be the reporting tools, you know, and this goes straight back into the visualization. How do you report on this? How do you make this look pretty? How do you make this something that your boss or your boss's boss is going to be able to look at and read? Or maybe you're on a board, maybe you're a volunteer organization and this is something you're doing on the side and you want to be able to put this out. We talked about tasks, and really high up there with tasks is scheduling. You want to make sure you have the scheduling. I love Gantt charts. This is something I absolutely just think is important to how I do things, but I know other people who don't schedule that way. Some people still use calendars. There's all kinds of different ways you can schedule. So just find what scheduling works best for you and your team. And now I'm going to talk about five of the different project management tools that are out there right now, things that you can use, and some of them are free and some of them are very expensive. And I'm very interested in if anyone out there is using any of these tools in their organizations, and if you are, let me know which things you have more of an interest, and if there's something I'm not listing in these top five, then let me know what else you want to know about. So the first one is Monday.com. This is really popular for a lot of startups right now, and they have everything from a free option to paid options. And this is a very visual tool. It has a lot of graphics. It is a tool where they describe it as you go in on a Monday, you set up all the features, and it lets you and your team come together, figure out what you need to be doing for the week. It's a good information sharing platform as well as a project management tool, and it's going to help you to reach those goals. So it's a lot less formal than your traditional project management tools that you would be using. So it's something to consider. You know, is this right for your organization? If you have a big enterprise, this might not be the right thing, but if you have a project team of like 10 or so people, this might be right. The next one I'm going to talk about is Scalable, is much larger and used by some Fortune 500 companies, and that's a Smartsheet. It's known for both project management and collaboration. Many people consider Smartsheet to be an alternative to Microsoft Project, and I'll be discussing Microsoft Project as the last tool. So one of the things that you want to look for is a tool that's scalable, one that will work for you. So Smartsheet has a lot of those options. It has Gantt and grids and calendar views. It has a very good look and feel to it that a lot of people like. You can do activity loggings, emails, all kinds of things with this. So this is a tool that if you're in a large organization and you don't want to go with Microsoft Project, this might be something that you want to look into. So I have nothing against Project, and I'm actually going to be talking about that quite a lot in the end, but I just want to make sure that people are aware that if you're at an enterprise level, there are other options now, and that used to really not be the case. It used to be pretty locked down. So next we're going to talk about WorkZone. I really like WorkZone, and I think it's such a great tool for smaller groups. And I really see WorkZone as something that is going to be up and coming. And one of the things I like best about WorkZone is it has API access. It is very, very customizable. So if you're already on a team and you're doing software development, this might be a tool that you really want to look into, because your people are already going to have those skill sets, and then you can customize it for your needs. So a lot of frustration people have is They go to use a project management tool, and then what they find is the tool is customizable for what they want to do. And so this is a big picture tool. It has lots of different features into it. It does have your traditional task management, your resource utilization, and highly customizable. So WorkZone is a really good option. And now I'm going to talk about what used to be one of my favorite tools, and it's a little hard for me to say this, but I really think it's stagnant now, and that's the tool called Basecamp. So I actually did my master's degree thesis on Basecamp and how people could use Basecamp is a free to very low cost project management tool for very small businesses. And it was very, very successful. But what Basecamp used to talk about is how it's not the tools that make the project successful, it's really that people use them, and the tools have to be easy. And unfortunately, Basecamp hasn't really caught up or stayed up with the times. And a lot of people are going to other things like Zoho and things that have kept up, that are more user-friendly. One of the things about Basecamp is it uses a lot of third-party integration now, and it's also costly now. So Basecamp used to be free back when I was really exploring it more and looking at having small businesses explore it. And so if you're a Basecamp user and you think maybe like I'm not giving Basecamp a fair analysis, I would really like to hear your thoughts on why you think Basecamp is still relevant and maybe still in the top 5. But at this point, I would drop Basecamp out and say there's so many other options. There's so many better vendors. There's so many different options for free vendors than you never had before. So if you're a Basecamp user, I'm sorry if this has upset you, but I really think that there's just so many other options. I would definitely look at Zoho. I would look at WorkZone, as I've already discussed. You know, there's so many other things that you can do. But now I'm going to talk about kind of still that slow and steady, the one that we all tend to use at least one point as a project manager, especially if you're doing something on a big enterprise. And that's MS Project or Microsoft Project. I have been using Project for years and years and years. And even as a very experienced user, it is not always user-friendly. And whenever Microsoft Project is updated to the newest version, I find I end up having to do classes on it, get retrained on it, spend a lot of time watching tutorials. You might say, well, those are reasons not to get Project, and that's true. But on the other hand, the thing that Microsoft Project does very well with is works well with the rest of the Microsoft suite. So if you're already using Microsoft SharePoint, you're using Microsoft Outlook, you're using Word, you're using Excel, then you will really find that Project does well if you're in that Microsoft community already. And so it's something to really consider. I mean, if you're already living in the world of Microsoft, this is probably the project planning tool that you're going to want. And it's going to be integrated. So then when you are using the Skype for Business as part of the Office 365, if you're using the Outlook email, if you're using OneNote, you can integrate everything into one really great enterprise-wide package. So I don't want you to discount Project if you're an enterprise level business and this is what you're looking to do. What I do want you to consider is, do you need Microsoft Project if you have a small team of 5 to 10 people? Or if you're an individual doing your own project management and you're using it for personal reasons, or you're using it just to manage your family or something like that. So just consider, why do you want Project? What can Project do? One of the things I love about Project is you can easily take information from Project and download it into Excel. It is a traditional tool. Most people are familiar with it. Most of your big businesses are already going to have it. It has come a long way from when it was first put out. And so you just want to make sure that you're looking at your project tools and which ones are right for you. The thing about Project is you can also do on-prem, or you can do cloud. It has a lot of integration now with Office 365, as I mentioned. So you need to consider which ones are right for you, what's most cost-effective for you, which things do you need for your business or your organization, and what's going to work for you. At this point, I am going to take a look over at the questions. I see a lot of people have been putting in their comments and chatting on this. And as this is my first time back in a very long time, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. Okay. So I'm looking through and I don't see any specific comments on tools. So what I'm going to be doing is a series, and this is based off of a request from a couple people on specific Microsoft project issues. So I'll be creating some little videos on it, doing some handouts that we can put out on the blog and the website, and of course right here on the Facebook page, and getting them out to you. And if you have specific questions on other project management tools you want me to explore, let me know. I love looking into the different tools, and most of the time you can get like a trialware, you can get like a freeware. So if you're out there and you're like, I really want to explore different project tools, but I don't know what to do and I don't know where to get started, there is nothing wrong with that. Just go out online, and the tools that I mentioned today, I'll be doing a summary and getting them on one of our blog posts so that you can see that. And then you can expect me at least every other week again, coming back here on Facebook Live, talking to you guys in the project management community. So as we go through this journey together, I appreciate your time. I want this to be valuable time for you. I love the interaction with everyone out there, and let me know what things you are more interested in. So for the next couple series, it's going to be project management tools, but last times I was posting, we talked sometimes about RACI diagrams and swim lanes. We discussed Prince versus PMBOK, things like that. So let me know, this community, what you're interested in, and I will continue to come back, share with you, and I appreciate everyone's time. And thank you so much to the team for welcoming me back after this year off.